What if the love story everyone thought ended in 2018 never actually ended at all? For years, the world believed that Wang and Shen Yue were simply two actors who shared lightning in a bottle, a once-in-a-generation on-screen pairing whose magic belonged only to the camera. The curtains closed on Meteor Garden, the credits rolled, and fans were told to move on. Yet quietly, patiently, almost defiantly, a different story may have been unfolding in the shadows, far from scripts and spotlights. A story that now refuses to stay hidden any longer. This is not just about a rumored romance. This is about timing, silence, glances, and a connection that seems to resurface again and again, no matter how many years pass or how far life pulls them apart. If you are still watching, subscribe. Let's get the story started as the world of your favorite celebrity unfolds.
Stay tuned.
When Wang and Shen Yue first appeared together, something unusual happened. Their chemistry did not feel rehearsed. It felt lived in. In interviews, they spoke over each other, laughed too easily, grew shy at unexpected moments. Crew members hinted that the atmosphere on set shifted whenever the two were together. Viewers across the world felt it immediately, not as fans craving fantasy, but as witnesses sensing something real. After Meteor Garden ended, the official narrative was simple. They went their separate ways. Careers took off. New co-stars appeared. New rumors followed. But the silence between Dylan and Shen was never ordinary. They did not overshare. They did not deny too loudly. They did not turn their bond into content. Instead, there were gaps, long pauses, and then, unexpectedly, moments that felt like echoes of something unfinished. Public appearances became rare, but when they happened, they were electric. A shared stage, a brief reunion on a variety show, a glance held for half a second too long. Fans noticed how Dylan's confident bravado softened around Shen Yue, how Shen's reserved composure cracked into unguarded laughter when he was near. These were not the reactions of strangers revisiting old work. These were the reactions of people deeply familiar with each other. Then came the coincidences. Similar travel schedules that overlapped without explanation. Social media posts uploaded within minutes of each other from suspiciously similar locations. Matching silhouettes and reflections, cropped just enough to avoid clarity. Friends tagging places, then quietly deleting. Nothing loud, nothing obvious. Just enough to raise a question that refused to disappear. Why hide if there was nothing to hide? Industry insiders began to whisper. Not the kind of gossip screamed across tabloids, but the kind passed carefully between people who understand contracts, reputations, and the cost of honesty in an unforgiving spotlight. They spoke of a long-term understanding, of a choice to protect something private in a world that devours celebrity relationships for sport, of two people who decided that love, if it existed, deserved quiet. And then there was Hello Saturday. To casual viewers, it was entertainment. To longtime watchers, it felt like a reveal disguised as nostalgia. The way Dylan leaned in. The way Shen Yue responded without hesitation. The way the room seemed to fall away when they interacted. No need for declarations. No need for labels. Body language told the story words could not. This is where the narrative shifts from rumor to realization. Because secret romances do not survive this long without substance. Years of restraint require intention. Avoiding scandals requires coordination. Reappearing together without awkwardness requires trust. Whatever exists between Wang and Shen Yue does not resemble a fleeting fling or a manufactured fantasy. It looks structured. It looks protected. It looks chosen. Perhaps the most telling detail is what they do not do. They do not use each other for headlines. They do not bait fans with cheap confirmations. They do not cash in on the curiosity that surrounds them. In an industry where exposure equals profit, restraint is the loudest confession of all. Love does not always announce itself. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it hides behind careers and expectations. Sometimes it grows stronger in silence. So are Wang and Shen Yue more than friends? If you look only for official statements, the answer remains elusive. But if you listen to patterns instead of proclamations, to presence instead of performance, the truth begins to feel unmistakable. Some love stories are written for the screen. Others are written between the lines. And this one may have been unfolding right in front of us the entire time, quietly, patiently, until the moment it was finally impossible to ignore. And perhaps the most haunting question of all is this: what happens when a love story survives fame, distance, and years of deliberate silence? Because time is the ultimate test. Infatuation burns fast and fades quickly, especially under the pressure of celebrity life. Yet time has not erased Wang and Shen Yue from each other's orbit. If anything, it has sharpened the mystery. As their careers expanded, so did the effort to keep their personal worlds sealed. Dylan rose rapidly, becoming a global name, his image carefully curated as bold, charismatic, untouchable. Shen Yue carved her own path, gentle yet resilient, choosing roles that reflected emotional depth rather than spectacle. Their public personas evolved, but the emotional language between them never seemed to change. When asked about ideal partners, both offered answers that felt oddly aligned. Values over vanity. Comfort over drama. Understanding over intensity. Not flashy declarations, but quiet consistency. Fans noticed how these descriptions mirrored what they seemed to offer each other back when no one was watching. There were moments when it felt like the story almost surfaced. A question in an interview that lingered too long. A smile that arrived before a name was mentioned. A pause that suggested a memory carefully stepped around. Each time, the moment passed, smoothed over by professionalism. But the trace remained. What makes this story different from countless celebrity rumors is not just chemistry or coincidence. It is restraint. In an industry where even the hint of romance is often exploited, choosing privacy is an act of rebellion. It suggests something worth protecting. Those close to the industry understand the unspoken rules. Public relationships can limit casting opportunities. Fan backlash can be brutal. Contracts can dictate silence. For young stars who rose together, the safest choice is often separation, at least in public. If Wang and Shen Yue chose to stay connected beneath that surface, it would explain everything. The distance, the caution, the careful choreography of appearances that never quite cross a line. And yet, despite all the care, something always slips through. A look that softens. A laugh that comes too easily. A comfort that cannot be faked. This is not the energy of two people revisiting a shared past. It is the energy of two people who never truly left it. There is also the way fans themselves have changed. The frenzy of early shipping has matured into quiet observation. Many no longer demand confirmation. They simply watch. They read between movements and moments. And, increasingly, they reach the same conclusion. Whatever this is, it is real to them. Love does not always follow the rules we expect. Sometimes it does not bloom loudly. Sometimes it survives by staying hidden, growing stronger away from judgment, away from noise. And sometimes, the most powerful romances are the ones that refuse to perform. So, maybe this was never about proving anything to the world. Maybe it was about two people meeting at the wrong time, choosing patience over pressure, and allowing life to unfold without sacrificing something rare. If one day they choose to speak, the revelation will feel less like a shock and more like a confirmation of what many already sensed. And if they never do, the story still stands, written not in headlines, but in years of quiet continuity. Some romances are announced. Others are felt. And the story of Wang and Shen Yue belongs to the kind that lingers long after the screen fades to black, whispering that some connections are simply too strong to disappear, no matter how carefully they are hidden.